16. 16. 17. You just said 17. I think the correct answer is 42. Social media age limit, yes or no? Okay, well here we are back in Perth, and today a very hot topic. We've got the social media age limit. Here in Australia, the nanny state, they want to stop kids from accessing the internet under a certain age, or we don't really know what they're planning on doing, but that seems to be the gist, is that you have to be over a certain age to access the internet. We're going to ask people what they think.
Yeah, there's too many people 14 or under on social media, and it can get pretty dangerous, I think.
So people pretending to be kids and hooking up with them and trying to meet them.
Or like vice versa, predators and then them trying to, because like the catfishing a predator, that became a trend for a while.
Oh, right, it was like a fun thing to do, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, I know so many people that are just like, oh yeah, we were catfishing this guy, and it was like, that guy was mid-40s. And it's like, nah.
And what about yourself?
Yeah, I think there should be an age limit on social media because there's lots of content out there that's also not age appropriate, and there's no like way of restricting access for lots of kids.
Yeah, social media causes so much harm in so many different ways, brings heaps to us and is really great for connection, but like there is a lot that could be reduced from getting rid of it. Or could we have like even just different platforms for different age groups? Like so many people on Instagram, so many sex workers, people that are creating erotic art, they're getting flags, they're getting zucked, they're getting their accounts.
They have their own platform.
Yeah, they have their own space, and then it's like, cool, you can sign up with your ID and you get proof checked, and then you can have access to this. Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're not talking about by content, they're just talking about by age. So once you hit 14, you can see everything, I guess. And before that, you can't see anything. I don't know how they'd make it work. What do you think?
I think that everyone has a different system for how they want their kids to be raised and how they want their kids to be exposed, how slow or quickly they want to do it, if they want to partake or if they want the internet to do it for them. I think parents should opt in or out for it and choose if their kids are following or not. Sure. Yeah.
Social media age limit, yes or no?
No. No to
You were very definite about that.
Yeah, no, I believe, I feel like 13 is just a good age because at that age, you've already learned about it in school. Like, the school's already teaching us. I don't see the point in making it higher or making it lower because lower is just crazy. That's crazy.
So when you say 13, what do you mean by that?
Like, 13 as in like... Well,
Sorry to put you on the spot. Is there already like something in place that says unless you're 13 or over, you can't view certain sites? Or is it like...
I would say it would depend on like parental like permission and stuff. Because I feel like if parents aren't taking care of their child, then that's kind of on you. Like, that's your problem. You should kind of be looking after them. If your child gets hacked, yeah, that's your problem. Like, so even all those legal measures, I feel like, yeah, okay, I guess if your parent says yes to it, then it's fine. But honestly, I don't see the point in making it higher. I just feel like even if the government makes it higher, I just know that 80% of people aren't going to listen. Like, yeah, I know that people are just going to fake their age. They're just, it's not going to...
I was going to say, how would you even police this? Let's just say it's a 15 years old, and over can access the internet. How would you police it? Do you then start dobbing in your family?
I feel like my parents won't even care. They wouldn't.
Well, they're busy trying to make money to stay alive, right? Yeah. Survive. They don't got time to deal with this. Exactly. On the same token, you must admit that there's some pretty negative implications of social media, of the kids watching it too much.
True, but
you're saying it should be the parents' responsibility to make sure. Yeah. And I guess if the government would probably, the government when they put in, if they do put these in place, they'll probably say, well, we're going to fine the parents or something, wouldn't they? Because
but I don't see the big deal, because at that age, 13, I think that's a good age where you start having like a mini like card, like a debit card. So if your parents trust you with a debit card, then I think they can trust you to be safe online. and like solve your own problems. That's how you deal with life.
They started talking about this thing last week. I'll just strangle myself. They started using this phrase,
Yeah.
trust exchange. Now, we've got no idea what that means, but it's something to do with interacting, verifying yourself with the digital ID system.
No idea. No. Like text as in like, oh yeah, texting with friends, but no idea what a trust exchange.
It's a shortening of trust exchange as far as the government's concerned. So, yeah, we don't know what it means. You obviously don't.
No.
We're going to ask everybody that we come across today what they think this means, and who knows, we'll get some different answers. Thanks for having a chat to us, hey? Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes or no?
There should definitely be an age limit for social media, I believe.
I feel like there's like some crazy stuff on social media. I don't know. That, like,
Yeah.
Young kids.
And even without the content, it's pretty crazy, like the way they suck your data and all that sort of stuff, and trap you on there to stay there.
Yeah, it's like it's really addictive as well. Like,
It is addictive.
yeah.
And I feel like, but even regardless of the social media age limit, I feel like people still find a way to get on, no matter what.
yeah.
Like
Just
it needs to be like actually be put into place, like properly, I feel.
How would you police it? Let's just say there's an age limit of, I think I heard the number 14.
yeah.
Just briefly, guys, social media age limit, yes or no?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so a split. We're split. You're saying no, aren't you? Yeah, got another 2 no's, 3 yeses.
They're the two youngest out of us.
Okay, sure. So you know what sort of damage social media can do, maybe a bit more?
Experienced it personally.
Yeah. Like what? Just don't mention any names or anything, but
There's just like a lot of stuff, like uncalled for stuff that goes on. Like, how do I explain this in a?
you mean like bullying or?
Like bullying stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that should be going inappropriate stuff that should be going on for people of higher ages.
Sure. Anyone can just type in a few words and then bang, they're straight onto the front page.
Or it's like what's it called? Like impossible expectations that's raised upon like kids from a young age, I feel. And like a lot of the younger kids are unaware of all these scenarios as such.
Where they get, we just had some guys talked about suddenly strangers online start chatting to them, and it can go very sideways.
Of course. And like I feel like body image is a very big thing as well, especially for younger years and like younger girls especially.
And they're looking at Instagram and going, oh, I'll never be that, or
Of course. And it's just like those expectations that have been set from such a young age. And a lot of them are unaware of like how like they've been like deviated as such, like how it isn't the true person and like filters exist and all that.
how would you police this? If let's just say it was 15 years old, no one could get on unless, well, they just couldn't get on unless you're 15. Who then dobs the person in? Is it the parents? Is it somebody that dobs the parents in of the child? I mean, how would you police it? And because, sorry, in this country, it's all about penalising people. It's just always a penalty. There's never any kind of guidance, just like penalty. Sorry.
It would probably start at like the App Store or like the Google Play Store.
Yeah, well,
where
that's probably,
where people
to
are actually
verify
getting
your
the
age.
and getting the app on your phone. So I think maybe like an extra step there, like an extra security step for parents to see like everything that their child is getting on their phone. Or maybe like a government thing, like you could notify the government, you know, my underage kid is getting this app on their phone. Should they be able to? Is there going to be explicit or maybe content that they aren't prepared for? So
Do you think we should be involving our government more in our lives, or?
maybe
I mean, look, there are some lots of negatives of social media, but do we want any more control offered to the government?
maybe in the legal sense, because you're asking about like age, right? So like how do we actually know their age? How do we know if they're actually ready to witness like things that are on social media? Because I've seen that social media is becoming less and less secure, and there's a lot of more explicit content that's just being allowed on the app that like nothing, there's no algorithm saving you, you know?
No. I've even noticed that with YouTube, which doesn't have porn on it per se, but a lot of the reels and stuff that come up are quite suggestive, and there's no,
And there's nothing stopping kids from actually downloading the app themselves instead of YouTube Kids, the app that's designed for them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
immediately you don't want to, if you're a kid, you don't want to use YouTube Kids. So so the digital ID is also part of this. That's coming in November, the digital ID. And the government has just started talking about this phrase here, Trust exchange. You want to tell me what that means?
Honestly, I have no clue at all. So
Probably not.
This is a government term as well, and remember, the government only speaks in sort of legal terms, or legal, very specific legal terms, or not at all. Yeah. So they've come up with this amazing term, trust exchange. You want to have a go?
Well, going over what you just said, if it's illegal, then you can't say something like, "Oh, you trust me, I trust you," because that's not very legal, is it? So, no clue.
Do you want to have a go? What do you think it means, trust exchange?
Maybe it's a exchange of information that, if the government can hold it, then you have to do something in exchange of that.
It sounds a bit like a blockchain sort of thing going on.
Yeah,
maybe.
Can't lie, I have no clue.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah. Well, it was funny to me because they've started using it and they've started shortening it as well to text, so they can speak about it in news conferences and not say trust exchange. They just say the text we've asked people. I don't have any trust as far as the government's concerned, so I can't really exchange anything with them. What do you think? I don't know how I would be able to verify myself. What I think it is like a QR code. So it's back to the days of the QR code. Remember that? So the QR code is. Hang on, we've just got one of our friends over there being questioned. Yeah, so it was basically a QR code, and this sounds fancy, but I think this might be what it is. Would you go back to using a QR code everywhere just to make sure you weren't underage or something, or
look, I honestly, because I've never experienced actually doing that, so I don't personally know how much safer it would probably be. But just going off of how, like, it's just unnecessary. I feel like it's unnecessary, like going through that much effort towards everything. So personally, I feel like no.
I think it is too, because like we already have like our licenses and we have our age and like our birth date and everything. So I think it's probably a little bit unnecessary to have QR codes like implemented into our system, especially when we also have like smart riders, we have other licenses, we have like a bunch of cards and like verification.
we've got facial recognition on all the cameras as well. Hey, thanks for joining us. Yeah, so what do you think?
Yeah, again, it's just so much effort for something that doesn't really have much of an impact on. Because again, we already have licenses and stuff. So yeah.
Are you happy with giving the government any more control over your life? I mean, you've grown up with a lot of control from the government. For someone like me, I start to get the heebie-jeebies every time I see fluoro walking towards me. Okay, but I've noticed a lot of the youngsters like yourself who've grown up with this kind of, you're used to like clocking in or scanning in, or you're kind of more used to it. You think you'll just accept it?
I think it depends on what the change is, because if it's like really harsh and it doubles down and it does get rid of like people who shouldn't be like seeing that sort of age content, then yes, I will go with it. But if it's just making it like worse all round, then no. I think it'd be like a bad change rather than a good one.
Sure. And then there's the whole thing about trust. I don't trust the government as far as I can throw them. And same.
I mean,
what about you? Just tell us your love for the government, and we won't have to blur out your face.
Yeah, I don't. The government's just there.
they spend too much money on things that are unnecessary.
Yeah, like Ukraine war.
Well, I mean, like, I get supporting countries that support us, but it's also like, yeah, we're in deficit. Let's give you all of the money we're not making.
Yeah, we've got a lot of homeless people in this country now.
Exactly, and nothing's being done except for moving them somewhere else. So it's like, if we spent more money looking after people who needed it, as opposed, like, not to say people don't need it in like war-torn countries, but Australia's not looking at its own issues more than other issues.
Yeah.
Like, I think, yeah, it should.
Yeah, charity begins at home, doesn't it, really?
Exactly. It's like you can't solve other people's problems without like solving your own.
Yeah, otherwise
Yeah.
you're on an unstable footing yourself, aren't you? And yeah. Well, wise words there. Beyond your years.
Yeah, not mine.
People don't agree with me usually on this. I think we've got to get rid of our license because it's the mechanism they use to control us. if you've done something in the eyes wrong, in the government's eyes, it's wrong. They use your driver's license, even though it's got nothing to do with driving, to penalise you. They say, well, if you don't pay this fine or whatever, we're taking your driver's license. And so it's controlling a whole lot of us. So I think we've all just got to get out there, cut up our driver's licenses, hand back and license plates.
I think license is the form of, you know,
Your license, like your
yeah, it's like by definition, license is something given to you by an authority.
owner.
Yeah, to have the ability to do something. So, I mean, that's a bit of a sticky conversation, but
Sure.
I think QR codes, I think probably at our age it's become a bit redundant, but maybe implementing it a bit younger at like 12, 13 maybe would be useful. Yeah.
And what about yourself? Would you be doing QR codes in the future just to prove that you're not under 15 or whatever they've...
I mean, it just sounds like a lot of a hassle. I can't lie. Yeah.
When it was COVID, it was a lot of hassle, and some of us chose not to participate, and we got big ramifications for that.
I think the age limit is good.
Yeah.
I think there's lots of things on
Well, now it's
social
4-2.
media.
So we've had the vote here has gone 4-2 for an age limit,
Yeah.
just because of the damages that social media does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some things that small children probably shouldn't be seeing.
Very true. How would you go about policing that, do you think? Do they have a camera in every... the
No,
guys
it's
here were
a-
saying it's probably part of the app sign-up process. There's a lot of things that aren't an app.
I think also it comes down to also the parents, enforcing and making sure their children aren't on it before they should be.
Yeah.
So it's quite hard, to regulate it. But
It's one of those hard things to police because I think my dad was talking about it the other day. It's like, it was a survey and it's like, are you over 18? And it was yes or no, but it didn't ask you to verify. It was like, and then, yeah, but policing it, I think it'd be hard to do because there's also using your parents' device and all of that.
Yes or no for you?
Yeah.
Yep. I can see why it would have some positives. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of curtailing free speech, which that would entail. That means that this video, for example, would not be seen by someone under the age of whatever it is. And they wouldn't know that people are out there questioning it. You're a young fella. Quite a number of screen hours in your lifetime.
Quite a few that I wish I hadn't spent, yes.
Yes. How would you go about policing that, do you think?
Throw every single computer into a ditch and set it on fire.
That sounds like a good idea to me. I think computers are taking us down a very dark path. Kids are having whole relationships with them now, aren't they? Okay. Well, you've got quite a radical take on things, but I like people who are prepared to go outside the box. So excellent on that.
I haven't heard about it, but I would understand how it's coming from, like where it's coming from.
And why would you understand it?
Because I feel like social media can be bad if you're at a really young age. Like not many people understand it. There's many things you can do on it, different platforms. Yeah.
Or while you're on social media or on Facebook or whatever, it's made to extract data out of you, which can then be monetized. And that has what do you think that sort of effect would have on kids, that their daily routine is being monetized sort of without their knowledge, really?
Yeah, I mean, like everything's being recorded. Like right now, if I speak into my phone and say something, I would get ads on it completely. That happens to me all the time. But
Creepy, huh?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is.
I used to think it was really creepy 10 years ago when I knew the government was tracking my kids on their walk to school,
Yeah, but like with the social media age limit, I think it should just be restricted on like maybe Snapchat. But there's obviously
per platform.
Yeah, like there's pros and cons to every platform, but I think you just have to understand it before you use it, honestly. Because me personally, I've had things happen to me on Snapchat and with friends as well. Like, yeah.
Like people trying to get your contact details or contact you, or what?
Not really. More like things being shared on the internet, like inappropriate stuff and all that.
To you, or your stuff being shared by Snapchat?
Both. I've had my stuff and my friend's stuff. Yeah.
We, myself and the producer here, we uninstalled Snapchat off our phones because we heard it was kind of just scraping everything. A lot of apps scrape everything off your phone anyway. Is it particular that Snapchat is not a good platform?
Well, I feel.
Was it just the frantic pace of it? It just sucks you in and.
Well, not really. It's because it's sort of like iMessages, just iMessages on your phone. But it's easier because you can like share videos, like send photos of yourself to your friends. But like yeah, the main thing is like when kids don't understand and they start adding random people based on like who's friends with who, and then sometimes you can just meet random people and then like sometimes bad stuff could happen, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the random people that kind of introduce themselves on these apps, and that happens to me on YouTube and on X. People just introduce themselves, and I go, "Oh yeah, I'll follow you back," and it turns out to be, you know, it's some chick who got an OnlyFans or something like that.
Yeah. But I guess it comes with age because like now, if a random person adds me, I'm not just gonna add them back without knowing who they are, and yeah, like 12-year-olds definitely shouldn't have access to this stuff.
So you think there should be like a how-to guide taught to kids about how to use and deal with social media?
I guess so because like, but it's weird because and in school you get taught about this like, but it's usually by older people like you know they have degrees and everything and all this stuff.
Just like me, I've got a degree, but I thought you were talking about TikTok when you were talking about Snapchat. You know, so we just don't got the brain up there. You know what I'm saying?
But I think like if you get like a young person to speak to kids,
yeah,
then
definitely aged. Yeah, it's age specific for
they'll
sure.
actually understand, they'll get it more.
Also, it would have, for me, it'd have to be a non-government organisation giving kids the instructions because I just don't trust the government anymore. But there's a lot of negative things about kids sitting on their phones scrolling all day. I can see why you would want to do something. How do you think they would police this? Let's just say it did become law. How do you think it would be policed?
Honestly, they can't. They just have to make it on the App Store and say that you have to be a certain age and like give identification. But yet again, that like no kids have ID except for Smile Rider, and that's about it.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then I guess if the parents like have the choice to get the app for them, and that's about it. But
speaking of ID, the digital ID is coming in, and this is what they're talking about, trust exchange. This is how I get on the internet, and before I get to see, let's just say, an over 14 years content, I have to tell the government who I have to like scan a QR code or something. They've just started talking about this like last week in the media. Trust exchange.
I know I've traveled a lot, and in international countries they have this. So like all the kids in high school, they have an app on their phone. Like when I went to Vietnam last holidays, and it's a way you can pay with the app. You can like give ID, and in Australia we don't really have this. So I think maybe that'd be good to introduce into the government.
Okay.
But obviously I don't really have a loud voice, so.
Yeah. Are you worried that the government's got too much control already, and you're giving them another layer with a digital ID?
I think it was big with the MyGov ID with all the vaccination like QR code scanning in, scanning everywhere.
Do you want to go back to that?
Nah, not really. I think it's sort of a personal invasion because like they know exactly where you've been everywhere.
They've got all that data. We were speaking to an IT guy last time. So if they sucked up all that data, no one knows where that data is now. No one even knows who owns it, but they know where you've been, who your friends are. You scanned your QR code.
That's the way it's going to be forever. Like with AI coming in, it's going to get huge. Like everyone that has like jobs in software design and it's all just going to get replaced by just by computers. Like, so the only thing now is just like physical. Like,
so you need your digital ID to get fed, get your universal basic income.
Yeah, they're good because they can definitely enforce it. And once they enforce it, like when vaccinations came on and during COVID and everything, like if you didn't have your vaccine, you couldn't really like eat at a restaurant or anything. So, but like, what can you do? You don't have, at that point, you don't have freedom of will. It's, yeah.
You do, you just don't eat at the restaurant.
Yeah, but
that's what a lot of people couldn't get their heads around.
They wouldn't allow you into Coles or Woolies. So
No.
How can you buy your groceries?
Yeah. Well, you've got to find another way because when you comply, you're kind of giving them the right to tell you to do everything, and I disagree with that. But that's just me personally. So you would be okay, you reckon, going through life with having to have your face scanned or whatever, just so you could get your groceries?
I feel like something that would probably be introduced in the next 5 years, but now I probably wouldn't do that. Many people, invasion of privacy, it's that simple.
That's probably already happening. They've got all the cameras scanning your face in Coles now.
I mean, like right now, you can't walk anywhere within the whole CBD without being, even in the alleyways and everywhere.
Yeah.
Like the security cameras right above our heads.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's creepy. Anyway.
That's how the world's shaping.
It is changing.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say, man? Thanks for spending your time
Nah,
with us
all
today.
good. I was just curious.
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out with us for a bit and putting some intelligent content in there for us to use.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, cheers. Have a
See
good
ya.
one. Thanks.